Hi, my name's Dana. I'm a former nurse before I became disabled with POTS disease. I had several of my friends asking how I access my port by myself and how I've never had a central line infection. So when I was a nurse, I worked in the neonatal ICU, and every day we do sterile line changes. So therefore I've implemented that to every time I access my port, and I limit the amount of people that are allowed to access it as well. So you're always going to start with washing your hands. It's very important to bleach and let it completely air dry. I have my IV fluids hung up here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this off and I'm going to connect the tubing. So while doing this, it's very important that you never touch the end of this. You want that to stay in the package. So I am putting it in. I got to squeeze, and I'm just going to let it prime all the way through. So I want to make sure that I see no more air bubbles. Okay, and then as you will see, I will just leave it right here until I'm ready to connect it. Next, I'm going to set up my supplies. So what I'll do first is I have my dressing, and I will lay that completely flat on the counter. Next, I will grab my flushes. So you always want to make sure that you have all the air out of your flushes. Okay, so I will put it on the end of my dressing. Okay, and here's the second one. Okay. Next, I'm going to do some alcohol wipes. So I have them partially torn open, and then I lay them down by my saline. Because the tricky part's going to come when we put our sterile gloves on. Okay, let's see what else I got here. I've got the sterile dressing package. So I'm going to open that up, and you have to be careful to only touch the ends of it. You don't ever want to touch the inside. Okay, and I'm going to pull it so that it lays flat like this. Okay, I'm going to grab my mask, and then I will also grab my gloves. So I'm sorry for this part because you guys can't really watch me talking. I'm grabbing my BioDisc, and I am just going to drop it in and not let it touch my hands at all. Okay, here's my needle. Dropping that. And then here is my blue hubcap. Okay, perfect. Now, I'm going to put my sterile gloves on. Okay. All right, so now I am sterile. So now what I'm going to do is dig through this for my ChloraPrep. And I'm going to start with that. So the first swab is always 30 seconds directly over the port. And you want to make sure that you're a little viscous with it as well. Once the 30 seconds is complete, you can start doing round circles anywhere you think your dressing is going to touch. Okay, now I'm going on with the second one. And I'm completing the circular motion. And here's my final swab. Okay, the reason I do this first before I put my kit together is because you need at least the full 30 seconds to the minute for it to dry. Okay, so while that's drying, I'm getting my needle together. And I'm going to put the end the blue hubcap to the end of my needle, like so. Okay, then I'm gonna get my skin protectant, and I'm gonna put this by my alcohols, as well as an additional alcohol. Okay, next, here's the tricky part. So, I get skin irritation from the ChloraPrep, so what I do is take an alcohol wipe and just wipe the outside. Okay, and now I have my skin protectant that I'm putting on as well. Okay, while that is drying, I have my 4x4 and 2x2, and I'm going to use these to pick up my saline sterilely. Okay, so see how I have my saline? I'm using the sterile 2x2 to take off the top. Okay, now I'm setting that down because this hand is still sterile, and I can connect it to my blue adapter. Okay, so here we go. So now there is all the way through. Okay, next, everybody's favorite part is you get to access your port. So now my left hand is no longer going to be sterile. It's going to be my clean hand. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab hold of my port, and I just poke it right in the middle, just like that. And there you go. We are in. Next, I'm going to grab my occlusive, my bio dressing here. Okay, so when it goes around like that, and next I'm going to put my dressing on. Okay, this is the very important part. You never want it to touch anything because you don't want any kind of infectious material getting into your port. Okay, and then you're just going to place it flat like that. Put your secondary part of the dressing on. Now you're going to want to try and check placement. Okay, so I'm going to flush a few and then pull out. Okay, that concludes my day of sterile line